This is Manindrago from Bataan. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
I'm Sela Sarakau from Vatukola. I only listen to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold Benaka, I'm Vale and I'm working at Golden Pro Resort, and I love listening to Gold FM because it plays a really wide range of classic music.
I'm Saini Sakio from Kashmir Wotoka. I like Gold FM, but only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Good evening, I'm Jackie Spade. This is FBC News. Tonight, NFP MP Thapon Ranidalo suspended from Parliament. Special passports for Fijians leaving for peacekeeping duties. More than $40 million needed to salvage the MV Sullivan. Opposition MP and National Federation Party President Thapon Ranidalo has been suspended from Parliament. The Parliamentary Privileges Committee unanimously found that Ranidalo had contravened standing orders and that there was a serious breach of privilege and contempt of Parliament. Parliament then voted on the matter, which sealed her fate. Ellen Stalls
Parliament
reports.
endorses the findings of the Privileges Committee that Honourable Thapon Ranidalo has contravened Standing Order 62.
Following the Speaker's remarks, many members from the government rose to support the committee's decision, with stiff opposition from the other side. Thapon Ranidalo then rose to give her version of what happened. She highlighted that her remarks were taken out of context and even said that the Hansard report did not match the audio recording of Parliament proceedings. She did issue an apology, however.
If, however, anyone in this house or outside, anyone else in Fiji takes offense for what they think they have heard or manufactured to have heard, I unreservedly apologize. I say again, Madam Speaker, please consider the context that I have put to you. You have the powers under Standing Order 18 to put an end to all of this now without going to a vote.
Dr. Reddy said he was deeply hurt by what Ranidalo said, calling him a fool, and that he had never said the words dumb native, as was alluded to by Ranidalo.
This kind of comments attributed is doing irreparable damage to the future of this country, Madam Speaker.
In the middle of the debate, opposition MP Prem Singh moved a motion to amend the suspension to 28 days instead of the entire term of Parliament.
I implore you that we must remain within the ambits of the standing order, and nowhere in the standing order says that a member can be suspended for the rest of the term of Parliament. And in fact, Madam Speaker, it is not a suspension, it is an expulsion.
However, this was defeated via a vote. Attorney General Aya Said Qayyum, who filed the original notice with the Speaker, told Parliament this was a principal position by the government.
We have to be extremely vigilant. We have to be extremely vigilant in protecting the sanctity of this Parliament. We have to be extremely vigilant in not allowing communal flames to take hold again.
Ranidalo is not allowed to enter the parliamentary precincts, including opposition office. She must also issue an apology to the Education Minister and to the people of Fiji within a week. The Parliamentary Privileges Committee consisted of Ruveni Ranidalo, Inia Seriratu Faiz Koya and Rosie Akbar, while opposition members refused to participate in the meeting. Ellen Stalls, FBC News.
And reactions to the Thapon Ranidalo expulsion were decidedly somber. Opposition leader Rotemu Mukepa says this is to be expected with the government majority outvoting any and all parliament business. Maggie Boyle reports.
Another year and another suspension from the opposition side of the House. Opposition chamber members gathered around MP Thapon Ranidalo in a show of support, with the suspension effective immediately.
Well, we had to say, we said whatever we had to say in Parliament, and of course our President has been suspended from Parliament. and we'll do a media release very shortly.
You, of course, as a parliamentarian, what does this day, what does this mean for you? How do you feel?
Well, I feel that it's very hard.
MP Tupon Dronindalo told FBC News she had said all she wanted to in Parliament. Opposition leader Rotimi Mokepe says there was no compassion in today's proceedings.
They have the numbers. They will bulldoze through, and where we have asked them to also consider is to be merciful and to have justice come into play, and in this regard that did not happen.
According to Rotemu, the loss of 2 of their members is a loss of representation for the 10,000 odd people that voted for them.
What we'll do now is take up the mantle of the other 2 members who are now on suspension, and we'll have to strategize better in terms of how we deal with issues that come into play in Parliament and also out there in the electorate.
Prime Minister Vrangai Bainimarama opted to comment later. In terms of the
we're going to have where's the statement? Are you going to come out? We'll put out a
statement later on.
Okay. Today's proceedings and debate ended after 6 hours, depleting the opposition ranks down to 16 and tipping the scale further in favour of government. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
The information bill has been referred to the Parliamentary Standing Committee after being discussed in Parliament today. While presenting the bill, Attorney General Ayaz Said Qayyum said the bill is a content to the requirement to act out legislation giving effect to Section 25 and 150 of the Constitution. Kelly Vadala has the details.
The Prime Minister can testify to that, who was a commander.
The information bill clearly states every person has the right to access of information held by the government and the right to amendment or remove false details that affects them.
And I quote from the Constitution, a written law shall make provision for the exercise by a member of the public of the right to access official information and documents held by the government and its agencies. The bill, however, Madam Speaker, is not only about freedom of information, what is generally termed FOI. There is another provision in the Constitution, Madam Speaker, under the Bill of Rights, under Section 25, where it says, every person has the right of access to A, information held by any public office, and also has the right to the correction or deletion of false or misleading information that affects that person.
The Attorney General says the Constitution will create an increased level of accountability for public officials who make decisions about individual citizens. Opposition Member of Parliament Nikona Waikula says they're satisfied with the information bill.
This bill is to put in effect our fundamental right to the freedom of information. That is a right that is within the Bill of Rights, and there's also a directive in the Constitution that it should be affected. We are happy that this will be referred to the committee.
Attorney General Ayaz Said Qayyum said the 1997 Constitution also had a provision for the legislation, but no information bill has been put before Parliament. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
A new category of passports will now be used by Fijian soldiers and other members of the disciplined forces to travel safely between the borders of hostile countries while on peacekeeping duties. The Passports Amendment Bill was passed in Parliament yesterday. Attorney General Ayaz Said Qayyum says the Fijian official passport will only be used by peacekeepers when they are officially on a tour of duty, and it cannot be used for any personal travel. Farzana Nisha has more.
Attorney General Ayaz Said Qayyum says the need for this special passport has come about due to the large number of Fijians taking up peacekeeping duties.
Essentially, Madam Speaker, it's to facilitate the granting of a special category of passport to our peacekeepers wherever they are in the world, to ensure that they are able to travel a lot more freely with official documentation across countries that may be at odds with each other.
Clarifying a number of anomalies raised by the opposition, Said Qayyum adds any member of the disciplined forces must not use his or her Fijian official passport for personal travel.
A disciplined force who contravenes to subsections 2 or 3 shall be subject to such disciplinary action as may be determined by the Commander of the Republic of Fiji Military Forces, or Commissioner of Police, or the Commissioner of the Fiji Correction Service, as the case may be. So there are various checks and balances that have been put in precisely for the reason because we have experts that have put this bill together.
Opposition Whip Ratuiso Atikoda said the amendments were notorious and covert in nature. 28 parliamentarians voted for the bill, 16 voted against it, while 6 did not vote. Farzana Nisha, FBC News.
Up on FBC News, new online service for LTA almost ready, and pastor accused of rape pleads not guilty. Stay with us.
FM rocks.
My name is Denasa and I'm from Lutoka and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Ulamila. I work at Golden Point Resort. I love listening to Today FM. It rocks in Raki Raki.
I'm Mary from Mandera. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
We love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. The Fiji Ports Corporation Limited is now looking for more than $42 million to salvage the MV Sullivan, which lies at the bottom of the Suva Harbour. Chief Executive Vajira Piasena told FBC News that a request has already been sent out to potential donors who can provide anything up to $20 million. Savaira Tambua has more.
An overseas company which assessed the sunken vessel has pegged the salvage cost just over $40 million. Fiji Ports Corporation Chief Executive Vajira Piasena says all salvage plans are on hold until they figure out how and where to get the money from.
First, we have to look at who is funding this. Without funding, that nobody is going to remove. I mean, how do we can call for expression of interest? Like, who is going to fund this is the main thing. Unless that's why I've been saying earlier also, until that is done, there's no, it's just not really worthwhile, trying to remove this. There's a cost involved, so we have to first think about where we're going to source funds.
The salvage report itself, handed to FPCL 2 months ago, cost $38,000. Piasena says there are no other cheap alternatives, but for now, the MV Sullivan poses no threat to the environment or the vessels in the Suva Harbour.
There's no endanger to navigation, no anything like that. No oil, no endanger to navigation. It's just a wreck lying there, and then so we have put it on hold until we get the funds.
The inter-island vessel sank off the Suva Harbour in January on its way into port from the Northern Division. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
39-year-old Choso Dolonandolu faces 24 counts of abduction, indecent assault, rape and murder, and has been branded as a dangerous sexual predator who targets young vulnerable girls. That was highlighted by the state prosecutor in court today. He said the alleged victims were all between 14 to 19 years old and from Dolonandolu's community between 1998 and March this year. The prosecution alleges that before the attacks, the accused forcefully abducted the girls and took them to a convenient place. Meanwhile, the defense says it needs time to submit a written challenge to the accused's alleged confessions to police. The court has set a trial date from 1st to 12th of May next year. The accused has been further remanded in custody. A 55-year-old leader of the Jezreel Lion of Judah Church appeared in the Suva High Court this morning charged with multiple rape offences, has pleaded not guilty to all the 10 charges. Chone Thukanuuto is alleged to have been involved in the rape cases in Suva and Taveuni that allegedly occurred between 2005, 2006 and 2012. Suva High Court Judge Justice Salesi Temo has called prosecution to outline the theory of their case in the next court sitting. Simeone Valeni Tambua is representing the accused. The case will be recalled on the 18th of July. The Land Transport Authority Board has been briefed on internet-based customer services via an online portal called LTA Soft. Board Chair Vijay Maharaj says Phase 2 of the rollout will bring more services online. Sainiani Boila has more.
The LTA board today got a glimpse of what Phase 2 of LTA's online service will be like. but the media wasn't allowed in, despite an official invite. Board Chair Vijay Maharaj says they are still in a testing phase.
Today we are actually in the testing mode today. I mean, it's not an official launch of the LTA Soft. The whole idea was to for the management to brief us as to what they're going to put online in a couple of weeks maybe. So today was really a question and answer session to see where we are, what they have done, and what we can expect in say about in a couple of weeks.
Maharaj says the internal launch today will enable final touch-ups before it's opened up to the public.
Because what happens from today onwards, there has been an internal launching, and the LTA staff will now do an operational part of it to see if there are any hitches in there, and if there are any, they'll try and rectify it so that in time for launch everything is perfect.
Once the website is launched, customers won't have to wait in line at the LTA offices, as half the work will be done online. This will include all traffic infringement notice payments, permit applications and other services. Sainyan Imboila, FBC News.
The Fijian Elections Office will launch its 2016 school voter registration drive on Monday. Supervisor of Elections Mohammed Saneem says voter registration teams will be deployed to secondary schools around the country to register new eligible voters. The FEO will cover 178 secondary schools throughout Fiji in the month-long exercise following approval from Education Ministry. According to Saneem, a total number of students registered during Phase 1 registration last year was 7,102. A proposed schedule has been forwarded to heads of all schools to allow them to inform the students on the exercise.
We will be giving them an opportunity to choose to register. As you know, registration is voluntary. However, we will be providing accessibility to the registration mechanism by sending teams directly to schools.
The registration drive begins at Suva Grammar School on Monday. Sports is up next. Here's Jamie with all the latest.
Thanks, Jackie, and good evening. In sports tonight, Fiji 15's veteran Seremai Mbai to retire after PNC. And former world number 3 guides his side to victory. This and more coming up.
Untuk tali tangana warung ana Bula FM dan nombor 2 nasihat. Bula mana Fiji, nada ko plasio matairi, ngon mai na nan bulu tabiuni, au satu ko nanti antu tali na warung ana Bula FM.
Bula FM nombor 2 NSR.
Vodafone Flying Fijians veteran Seremai Mbai will retire from international rugby after the Pacific Nations Cup. The former captain says he plans to move into development work in Fiji when he retires. Vasinul Prasad reports.
This year's Pacific Nations Cup will be the final national tournament for Seremai Mbai, who spent 19 years in rugby.
It's a time for everything. I'm blessed to play such a long career without any serious injuries. So I've just been thankful for John for thinking of, coming back and play for this PNC.
The former Lelin Memorial School student says he's looking ahead to his last international tournament in front of a home crowd. And what a moment it will be for the players around him. Many have watched him play on television.
Not the biggest name, not the fastest, to come back and play in front of your home crowd, you ask nothing better than this.
Bayu has been playing overseas since 2001. Once helped locals grow as globally marketable rugby stars.
I'm planning to open up a rugby academy, so I hope that I can pass on my talent, my gift, my experience through my rugby. Play with a lot of great players, so hopefully we can see future superstars.
For now, Flying Fijians coach John McKee says he will be an inspiration to the team in the Pacific Nations Cup.
We know what a great player he's been for Fiji over the years, and also as a professional rugby player, and to have him in the group. I think he's a very good mentor for our younger players.
By captain the Flying Fijians to the 2007 Rugby World Cup, Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Otago Highlanders wing Patrick Osborne has joined the Flying Fijians team preparing for the Pacific Nations Cup. Osborne underwent a medical before joining the team at training this morning. If selected for the PNC, the former Suva rugby player will make his debut for Fiji after missing the World Cup last year.
Yeah, Patrick's fine. Yeah, he travelled yesterday, so you saw he didn't train today, but he's here with the squad learning our game plan, and he had a medical with William this morning. It's all clear, so he'll have a restful weekend and he'll be ready to go on Monday.
Meanwhile, the team breaks camp tonight and will regroup on Monday. Still with the Flying Fijians, 2 new players in the extended squad say they are overwhelmed after being called up for national duties. For Filimoni Savo and Frank Lomai, it's time to work hard and impress coach John McKee. Vashnil Prasad with the details.
Fitting into the Flying Fijians' final 28-member squad could be a tough task for Filimoni Savo, but that's not going to deter him from giving 100% during trials.
It's going to be pretty hard for someone that is only 19 and played two under-20s World Trophy, and because we've got experienced players like Bai, and I think Wonderbar is coming in, and a couple of Warriors centres in the squad as well. So, but I think I can cope with that. I'll just have to see what the head coach says, but I'm just going to keep on training if I get the call up or not. So.
The 19-year-old has set his goal towards the 2019 World Cup. The national under-20 team centre says it will be a dream come true, play alongside seasoned Flying Fijians.
It'll be something else. Like I'll be over the moon, I guess, because I'm only 19 at the moment. I'm playing with these big boys. You know, you normally see Serma and Bai on the TV, and also Ben on the TV, and it'll be an honour, as I'd say, to play alongside them.
Another player who has been tested by coach John McKee is Frank Lomani.
First of all, I would like to thank the Lord for his guidance, and I thank the senior boys for. I've learned a lot from them, and from Bai and Ben, and I'll keep improving with my learning.
Their rugby career have only just started to take off, and if everything stays on track, these 2 upcoming stars could become an important part of the national team. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Naita Siri has jumped up to 2nd spot in the Skipper Cup competition after defeating Lautoka 31-19 at Ratu Thakambau Park in Ausori. At halftime, the Highlanders led the Maroons 13-6 and held on to their lead until the final whistle. In the other match played today at Lawanga Park, Singatoka, Malolo defeated Northland 37-33. In games tomorrow at 3 p.m, Nandi takes on Vatukola at Prince Charles Park, Nandrunga battles Suva at Lawanga Park, Namosi meets Tavu at Gavi Park, and Tailevu hosts Madawata at Ratu Thakambau Park. You can catch a live commentary of the Suva Nandrunga match on Bula FM. Vodafone Fiji Under-23 football rep Garis Prasad is confident that the national side will beat Vanuatu in the OFC Nations Cup tomorrow and qualify for the semi-finals. The Reo forward says the Fijians have what it takes to tackle any team in Oceania. Rohit Deo with the story.
The Fiji football side takes on Vanuatu in the OFC Nations Cup tomorrow in a do-or-die match. Garis Prasad says the national side will win tomorrow.
Joy in the
I'm sure I'm confident they're going to beat Vanuatu, and against New Zealand it's just bad luck. I think they played really well, and with Frank there back with them, I think they're going to make to the final. And against New Zealand, if they play New Zealand again in the final, I'm sure if with Frank there they can beat New Zealand.
Prasad was part of the Brazil tour in April this year. He adds that players from the under-23 side have been doing well at senior level.
All thanks again goes to Frank Frena because of him choosing youth players to blend in with the senior players, and so far I've been watching their games. They're doing really well, blending in with the senior players. And
the match kicks off at 6 p.m. tomorrow, and you can watch it live on FBC TV. Meanwhile, Prasad was the chief guest at the Vodafone presentation for the best cheering video for the under-23 side. Masori's Avishan Chan won the main prize of $1,000.
I make this video because I love playing soccer. I use this money to buy the boot and my studies.
The competition involved more than 80,000 people on Facebook. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
Former world number 3 Ritesh Lal led his team to a memorable win in the fourth final of the South Pacific Bowling Carnival in Suva today. The victory is a boost for the national squad, which is preparing for a major competition later in the year. Talin Dadakadaka reports.
Ratish Lal and his team of Semasana Sirwatu, Elizabeth Modewai and Arun Kumar were all smiles after beating Weisbeker's team 2014 in the fourth final this morning.
The competition has been very stiff, I would say, and you see the younger bowlers that is coming in, they are playing very good bowls, and we experienced good competition on the way to the finals.
Our national bowlers have been finishing in the top 4 positions in each of the disciplines this year, which augurs well for the build-up to the World Bowls Championship in New Zealand in November.
Yeah, that's a good sign, and it's a good indication for us that they are doing their part in preparing for World Bowl.
With the fourth event done and dusted, all focus turns to the singles competition to wrap up another successful South Pacific Bowling Carnival. Silent Odakataka, FBC Sports.
That's it from Sports Tonight. Jackie's up next with business. Good evening.
Fiji Financial Intelligence Unit has found a bogus mobile phone scam by international criminals. Director Razim Baksh says people should be careful when responding to advertisements, emails and social media messages offering cheap mobile phone deals that makes promises such as buy 3, get 1 free. Baksh says they've established that the advertisements in local print media last Friday and on Wednesday is bogus and a scam by criminal gangs who use fake email addresses. The group has also used stolen personal credit card details to pay for the advertisement. It was another bright and sunny day with some cloudiness, especially in the east. Temperatures were about the same everywhere. Lambasa was the warmest at 33, Lautoka got up to 31, while the rest of the centres were in the high 20s. Tomorrow should be much like today, sunny with some cloudiness and just a slim chance of showers in the eastern areas. Looking ahead to Sunday, the comfortable conditions will continue. At sea, southeast winds gusting up to 15 knots with moderate swells. And recapping the main stories for tonight, National Federation Party MP Thapong Ranindalo suspended from Parliament until 2018. $40 million needed to salvage MV Sullivan from the bottom of the Suva Harbour, and Land Transport Authority on the verge of expanding its services via the internet. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Time for this week's poll question. We are asking, should Fijians be redeployed to Sinai if the security situation improves? To answer, visit our FBC website. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spade. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Ni Modamanta.
आपको खरगंगा की रंजिला का नमस्कार। रेडियो फिजी की सुंदर सुंदर यादों का खजाना एकदम बचपन के दिन याद करा देते हैं।
हमारा नाम जोनी नायडू है, हम रहता है मलोरो में और हम टैक्सी ड्राइवर है। हम सब टाइम अपन टैक्सी में रेडियो फिजी सुनता प्रोग्राम।
हम सिंगाचोका के हैं, हमारा नाम है रोजी। हम लोग यहाँ पे रेडियो फिजी 2 सुनते हैं।
राम राम, मैं रेमस प्रसाद बोलता हूँ, तब वतन में कोई रहता हूँ। मैं जब भी सुना रेडियो फिजी 2 ही सुनता हूँ।
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन।